Should put myself in here. Hello. How is everyone doing? Is this happening? I think it is. Um, it's still morning for one more minute here. Yeah, I just decided to come do a live stream for no particular reason. I don't think anybody will come because I didn't tell anybody about it again. So it's been a busy morning for me getting rid of this headset thing because it's about to die anyway. And I was going to put a ticker up here. It should come with something to talk about. But I was on some really interesting. Hey, Commander 401, you're here. You're doing a stream today too, aren't you? I think you are. I'm not paying attention to what's going on, but I know you're doing a stream today. I'm looking it up because I've got it marked here somewhere. You're coming up at what time? What time is Commander 401 stream? You're gonna be doing you're laughing at somebody today. You're laughing at Elon Musk. That's it. Elon Musk. I'm looking it up so I can tell everybody where to go and how to get there. Because Commander 401 has got some neat stuff that they've been working on. And if you don't know them, go find them, subscribe, like it. And why is it not coming up? I know you're in here. I have too many subscriptions. You know when they say just subscribe and it won't cost you anything? Yes, here it is. There's a preview. And when is this happening? This can play. Oh, here it is. Okay. 1 day ago. When is this happening? I still don't know. You're doing the upload today, rendering it now. You have someone to stream with before you do another stream. Awesome. Well, that is fantastic, Commander. And I have no idea what's going to be happening today because I got a bunch of stuff to do. So I don't know if I'll be able to do anything live. But if I'm available, I'll jump on with you. I'm doing a thing later on Maya's channel. Maya does Bad Science Sunday at 9:30 Eastern, and because I have an early start the next day, we're doing a short video, and I'm going to be there for the time I'm there. So you're doing the upload, rendering it now. Yeah, I hope you can find the right co-host. I got to go pick my daughter up fairly soon, and take her to the store, and so I think this may be another one of those ones I listen to on my way to work or something like that. I know you took down the last one before I got a chance to get to it, but I've enjoyed the other content you've done, Commander. It's been well produced. I think that's the thing. You do a really good job of putting stuff together, and your quality control is there, and mine is not. I haven't even thought about quality control. So that's why I come here and just ramble at the screen, and then sometimes somebody will just jump in and start talking to me. I'm going to, you're welcome to come on. I don't know if you want to or not, but I'm going to figure out how to do the invitations there and do this. And then just post this comment in here if I do that. Does that work? No. I think that's it. I don't know how to use this computer. Yeah, so people want to join, they can click on that and I will let you in, and I will only kick you out if you're an idiot. And I don't have any idiots to follow me, so they may not be thinking straight when they follow, but or subscribe, but they are not idiots. So I was on something yesterday. You know what, Commander? You say it's too much. I think I can put this up here like this, right? Yeah. So, Commander, I don't think you put too much into it, but I can only imagine the amount of time it takes to do with the animations and stuff like that. And I just from the hip thing, right? So shooting from the hip is sometimes dangerous because you could end up seeing something, or I'm going to say you step on yourself, you step on your words because your intention doesn't come through. And I see, oftentimes I see people talking, and I'm not calling out anyone in particular because I've seen this so many times. There were some people talking last night in chats that had differing opinions that are on the quote unquote same side from a, let's say, political point of view, or whatever you want to call it. But politics is policy, right? It's what are our policies? What does society want? And because my volunteer work and my intentions towards that are focused at government run organizations in my country, sometimes I'm probably overly careful about things that I say and do. And a lot of times the controversial, you're going to come in. Awesome, Commander. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe we can have a little chat. I think you chatted with me a week or two ago. But yeah, I don't want to get into always the most serious conversations. Oh, there you are, Commander. Awesome. So I will, if I go to this way of presenting, or this way, add you to the stage. Commander, how are you doing?
I am doing all right. I'm just waiting for this to render. I've
Yeah.
got 1200 frames out of 6000 frames. It's only been rendering for like an hour.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then it's not going to be up in the early afternoon. And you're in the same time zone. You're in Eastern as well, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just I misjudged, but I also had to add more content to what I had because what I had originally, Musk was going to be part of about making fun of two others. Someone who says they're a teacher, um, who posted something where the English was wrong, the spelling was atrocious, and I had been away from community college for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So my written grammar is no room to talk. But I mean, even the most obvious stuff, the person claims to be a teacher, and I was mocking them. I got the there's a place, so that's a treasure trove of just stupid things that Russian trolls post.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh,
since
there's so much of that. Yeah.
that's a never-ending well of stupid that can be made fun of.
Yeah. Like, because it's almost an automated industry there, it just never stops coming. And yeah, no, like, this is one of those things. When I think when we talk about like the AI revolution coming in technology, it does a lot of things really well, but then there's a lot of stuff it does not so well, and a lot of things it misses. And I don't know what I just did. Oh, I know what I did. I hit the sorry, I tried to wipe dust off of my. I got my son's computer set up here. I wiped dust off of it, hit the trackpad. So I forgot the mouse doesn't undo the trackpad; it just does it as well. So I got yeah, I got it some interactions with AI art that have been interesting, and I noticed that there's a lot of mistakes and things in there that get messed up, and a lot of things that get missed. And I've I've purchased a small subscription, which I may get rid of, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. So it's about the same as a cup of coffee a week. So I might keep it going because it's fun. But it often will give me something where it doesn't meet its own quality standards, and you don't get your money back for that. So I was thinking of complaining about that, and I'm assuming what it is it renders something that it thinks somehow is an inappropriate image. Maybe it's showing something violent or something that's interpreted as sexual or nudity or something. I have no idea, because it'll render 5 images with the same prompt, and then you try like a different mode, and then it just falls apart. And I think companies are now already relying on AI to do things like managing terms of service, and people are constantly complaining about YouTube and other, um, I guess, platforms having really bad management of stuff because they're not looking at it. And we as people read comments and things that are put up, and you can program an AI to never break the rules, but you can't necessarily program it to do something that's legible and understandable. But every once in a while it hits, and people go nuts because they think they're dealing with a real person, or they think they're dealing with a person that doesn't have an agenda
Well,
beyond their
in
own
this case,
mentality.
certain posts are actual people when the
Yeah.
English and the spelling is so goddamn bad that
Yeah, I know,
it
because
will
the AI would at
translate
least get
and
the yeah, would get the words spelled
yes.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's right. You're definitely gonna find a tremendous amount in there. So Commander, you're like just because I'm new at this, I'm assuming what you do is you grab content and then evaluate it carefully and then comment on it, and you're doing it all with the animated rendering on top of it. Is that what your usual MO is? Because I know you've also
Yeah.
presented videos and stuff where you've sort of commented over top and
Well, I can't do the animation live.
gotcha.
I
Okay.
would need to have the I do have a the Unreal Engine set up in a computer which is now dead because my mom trashed it.
Oh
I do
yeah.
have an iPhone that can track the face.
Okay.
Um I just need to get that whole bloody thing set up, and the computer that I had rendering
Yeah.
currently setting the audio
I don't know
thing
if
that I was rendering
I lost you
before.
for a second there. Yeah, Commander, sorry we
You went
lost
in and
you.
out too.
Oh, did I? Okay, so yeah, it's probably me. I was just looking at my I do have my internet is up, but my internet here is for now, although apparently we're gonna get fiber eventually in our neighborhood, but we're out in the country, so they're actually laying fiber lines out on the road a couple of kilometers away, and they said they're coming to our road. So and it's the same company I get my satellite style internet from, which isn't really satellite. It's just we have a satellite dish that gets it. So it does sometimes fade in and out. But I also know people in big cities have the same problem too. So I'm
Well,
definitely looking
that's
forward to
during
getting better
peak
connectivity.
usage,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, for
Spectrum
sure.
sucks.
Yeah,
When I
because
was
like,
in
yeah,
Virginia, I had Verizon and it was never fucking up.
yeah, and I guess like, yeah, Virginia is a very I don't know if I've been to Virginia. I know I've been to West Virginia. I'm trying to remember if I've been to actual Virginia, but it's like it's out by the coast and it's a pretty populated area where it hits the Atlantic seaboard. I think, right? There's like right by,
Yeah, I lived in
isn't it
Hampton
like it's sort of,
Roads.
yeah, it kind of like butts up against like DC and other sort of busy areas. I think, but I don't think
Well,
I've been there.
Hampton, Hampton Roads is actually southeastern Virginia.
Okay,
DC is northern Virginia.
gotcha. Okay,
That
so you were
whole
you were further
metro
away from that.
area.
Okay,
Y- Yeah, I was about 2 hour drive away. I set
okay,
the thing back up to render, so it should be going.
okay. So things will be
I have
working
to
all right.
babysit the computer because if I go out and it craps out like that, I'll come back and there'll be hours wasted where it hasn't done anything. I need
Yeah,
to upgrade the RAM for this one. The one
yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm
So you
talking
want to,
on now, it can't render anymore because the CPU fan is broken. It will overheat, and I need to get up the nerve to go into the only shop in town that can fix it without me being without this computer for a month on end. But
mm,
that computer, that shop is in the same building with a weed dispensary, and I'm a commercial driver.
Yeah, so you got to be
And
careful
I'm
about that for sure.
afraid I can test positive just by being in there too long.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. And unlike the U.S., we don't have persistent mandatory testing, and we don't have. I mean, you're gonna get tested if there's a problem, and if you travel to the U.S., you have to get tested. But because I don't travel to the U.S. on a regular basis, and the company I work for just they have rules in place, and they seem to adhere to them pretty carefully. But we have zero tolerance, so you can't have anything. So like if the MTO, for instance, which in Ontario is the same as the DOT, if they want to test you for something, all they have to do is suspect it. And as a commercial driver, it's not like, I mean, you're not allowed to drive a regular vehicle intoxicated, but as a commercial driver, you're not allowed to have it in your system. So, and all I know
Oh, yeah,
our
same
company,
thing here.
yeah, most of our companies have rules too. And like because where I work, I have a uniform, so I'm not allowed to do anything in uniform that could look strange. And I've often wondered, like, I'm not allowed to go into a liquor store, a beer store, a pot dispensary, whatever, which is all tricky. But what's really tricky now is that, like, if I'm out of town and I stop at like a grocery store, a lot of grocery stores now, this is a relatively recent rule, so they've imposed two rules at the same time. One is you're not allowed to go in these places, um, and then also that I need to be able to live out on the road and buy food and stuff. So if I go into a grocery store that sells beer and I'm in my uniform, like I don't know what to do with that, but I'm never buying beer. I don't actually drink at all. So that's not a problem for me, but it's one of those things, right? I'm like I sometimes just will like, put a different shirt on and one of my casual hats instead of a uniform, just to make sure I don't get, my picture taken somewhere to say, someone says you're being an idiot, because you just don't want to go through that, right? Um, I think that's just it's part
Right.
of the
Well,
industry,
my
right?
company has rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have rules. It's basically you don't park the truck anywhere that's not a rest stop or truck stop unless it's an emergency. So they don't want us going and parking in Walmart. They don't
Yeah.
want us going and parking in a food store. And that's also insurance reasons because we have a line haul side of our business,
Okay.
and then we have a dedicated delivery to fast food joints. And
Gotcha.
guess who gets into the most accidents when you're going into those little
Oh,
itty
it's those,
bitty
yeah. Yeah.
fast food dedicated things?
Well, this is like what I do. So like I've had so many issues with this, and I don't want to say I've had accidents, because I wouldn't say I've had accidents, but there's a lot of the close calls, a lot of the stupid stuff that happens in those places. It's a combination of people that can't hold their lane on a highway, or like impatient people that don't realize that they'll be just as far along if they get behind you and pass you legally, rather than like running up the shoulder. But I've had a few people that don't realize they're not in my line of sight. If they're up against my right tire and they have their signal on, they don't seem to understand I can't see them. But
Oh,
the
I
other
had
thing,
that
yeah,
yesterday.
oh, it happens all the time. And then my truck is really not great for outward visibility in that direction. My truck is really just built for moving heavy stuff, but they'll send me with a four-axle tractor and a four-axle float with a low boy into a residential neighborhood, because the residential neighborhood, guess what? They still need work done, right? And sometimes the work is way bigger than you're going to do with like just a little backhoe. Um, so like I'll be bringing a 50-ton excavator into a neighborhood where the biggest thing that the road's set up to handle is maybe a triaxle dump truck, and for snowplow, basically, right? They're not set up for this. They're not set up for
Oh,
construction
yeah.
traffic to come in, and I've got to get in there anyway. Now I haven't hit a car or anything like that. I haven't had any issues, and touch wood, I don't ever want to. But the biggest problems come from the traffic in those areas not understanding that If they just give you a minute, you'll be able to get around where you got to go, right? But sometimes I got to lift the deck to get around roundabouts. I had
I
that
have a
happen
horror
last week.
story. It was a horror story and a miracle rolled into one.
All right,
All
well, lay it
right,
on us.
I was basically supposed to deliver some stuff on the Vermont Massachusetts border. Was it Vermont or was it no, it was Vermont and god
New
New
Hampshire,
Hampshire. I'm sorry.
Keene.
So it's really mountainous.
Was it Keene area?
So
Keene has like a big hill that comes down into it.
this was coming up from New York.
Mm.
Anyway,
Then okay,
I wound up, the GPS wound up dumping me off a one-way dirt road
yeah,
out in the middle of fucking nowhere at night, where it basically said no truck traffic outside of delivery.
yeah,
But basically, it was dirt fucking roads. You have a Samsara or something like it where it grades you on how well you jostle the truck, whether or not the truck is jostled, accelerometers, whatever.
okay, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
went in there with a 100%. I
yeah,
got out of there because of the nature of the road with a 10%. And by
yeah,
all rights, because of how narrow it was, my tandems should have hit a tree or rock or went over a ledge. But
yeah,
somehow I managed to get out. And ever since then, everyone's been giving me major respect because I didn't even dent the truck. It was a
yeah.
miracle because by all rights, I should have been, you
Yeah,
know,
no, and yeah, and the stuff that we do, like we at least get like a little bit of nobody's checking that. If somebody checked that on my truck, it wouldn't make it a week without going down like that. Because we literally go in and out of quarries, we go in and out of construction sites, we go the machines we move weigh like my payload is oftentimes well over what a fully loaded transport truck is, right? So the jostling that my truck gets, going up and down gravel roads, like there's this one site I've been to a bunch of times now, and there's a 9% grade to get out of the place. It's gravel, and they always send me for like the heaviest machines. They're like over 50 tons, which 50 metric tons. Like that's the payload. It's just it's nuts. You're like with the 18 speed, I'm in low, maybe low high. Sometimes I can get in the first gear, but generally climbing out of there like just with the flashers on and just hoping I can make it. And it's not so tight for room, but like also when we deliver cranes and stuff, and I'm picking up a crane. I don't know where I'm taking it, but I'm delivering a crane tomorrow. And I've had to deliver these cranes for another company to these like little narrow bridges, and I literally have to go down single track roads that a pickup truck would probably be rubbing branches on. And I'm just like smacking into everything. I'm going super slow, but I'm just like, I'm not hitting stuff with the truck. It's just like the branches are hitting the smokestack, right? The CB antenna is whipping because like it's my CB antenna is set about 2 inches above the highest load I can take without a special permit. So I kind of know I know if I'm hitting a low obstacle, it'll hit the CB antenna and I'll come to a dead stop. But it just yeah, they would not have some sort of a like a I don't know, a gyroscope's the wrong word, but like some sort of a sensor that can sense the orientation
it's
and
an accelerometer.
accelerometer. Yeah, they may hook stuff up to it and it may have it built in, but like for those of us that are doing those loads, they're not worried about the bouncing and stuff that we do. But yeah, these trucks get jostled. But the food type products and stuff like that, like those products are far more sensitive than a like a large excavator, a crane, a big loader. Those things are meant to operate in those environments. So it's a lot different than if you're transporting certain types of dangerous goods, liquids, and food products. Like some products I mean, like I'm assuming like breakfast cereal wouldn't be a problem, but think about something like eggs. Think about other sort of like liquid packaged things. If you like
Well,
Dim's
thank
packaging,
goodness we
or
don't
like
do eggs.
it's and there are specialized egg haulers. I know that. I know that's a thing here. I'm sure it is there too, but they ship eggs in special trucks here, and I don't know what they put in them other than like um, temperature control. But yeah, temperature control product is a major industry, and we see a lot of temperature control stuff up and down our highway because there's a lot of production here and there's a lot of hauling in from the US and Mexico. It just because of the nature of our climate here, we spend a lot of the year hauling it in. We also produce a lot of products. So yeah, it's an interesting industry to be in because trucking in general is just such um a wide and diverse industry as it is, right? Like there's nothing that doesn't touch trucking in one way or another. People think of it as long haul highway because that's the image they have, but it's a very diverse industry.
Yeah, I think I stepped in it because usually you need to be over the road for like a year or something before you can wind up being home almost every night or every night. But I actually
Mm.
found a carrier that allowed for that.
Yeah, I did too because this is my second career. I think a lot of people know that, but yeah, no, I kind of changed from one career to another, and I was lucky to have two companies. First company I worked for had other issues, but it was mostly at home, a little bit of overnight here and there. And that's the same as where I am now. And I kind of chose that because I was offered other jobs where it was over the road for one of the places that offered it to me said we only want you to be out 2 weeks at a time. The other one was like just um, week out, weekend in, week out, weekend in kind of thing. And they they don't pay that well because it's all by the mile. And when you look at the take home pay, doing what I do now, it's just way better for me. Um, and it also be having a family, having a special needs son, um, having other commitments and stuff. Being knowing that I'm home most weekends and that it's volunteer to go out for extra time, and they pay time and a half or double time depending on the situation. I'll take it if they've got it, and they're very flexible on if I need time off or something. So
Oh,
I
my
found a really
my
great company to work for.
my carrier is basically giving me half of December off to go do that thing in Ukraine with Starsky.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, there's really good companies out there. There's some terrible ones out there, and the ones that I said no to weren't terrible companies. Just wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't a right fit for me. And I've done a few longer runs here and there, and I've been last year. Yeah, last year in 2022, I was in every province except PEI throughout the year, but that was kind of an odd scenario. It's not the way it always goes, but that really doesn't matter. Whether I'm staying close to home, whether I'm putting in a huge ton of hours or a shorter day, they try to balance it out, and I really like where I work, and I don't think people are tuning in for trucking. I don't think anybody's tuning in at all, but if people are watching this, yeah, I mean, we're both truckers. Hey, Carrie Ann is here. How's it going? Um, Carrie, you're welcome to come in too, although I know you always say you can't, but you're welcome to. I don't know if I put the thing up there, but yeah, I did. It's up there. Um, yeah. So we don't have to go on about trucking all day, but yeah, it is a very cool industry to be in if you're in the right place, and it can be an absolute hellhole if you're in the wrong place with the wrong people. And yeah. So yeah, so Commander, I guess if you're on, we'll be seeing your stuff. I'm trying to do the math on what you said. You said you had 1,200 of 6,000 done in an hour.
Something.
So it's like sounds like a 4 to 5 hour long
Yeah,
total. So with 3-4 hours minimum
yeah.
left
I
before
I
you
put
be up there.
I put the thing up on the community post when the rendering would be done, and then I gotta put do the sound effects, put a few more but I hope to have it done today. The only reason the algorithm, because when the whole thing in Israel happened, it changed the algorithm, so the algorithm is crapping out on me because the two biggest
Okay.
view things were Ukraine. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah. So you
I
weren't
would
you
be
weren't getting that.
freaking, and I just I can't keep up on day to day things in Israel and day to day things everywhere to the point where I feel comfortable actually doing live streams on it every bloody day. I might
Yeah.
be
No,
able to
it's
do
it's it's
something
it's an
weekly
overload.
about it.
Yeah, it's an overload. I personally, I think I've mentioned this before. I kind of sequester my day to day listening habits away from major news events just because and it's I don't mind finding out about major political issues, but I was actually talking to a good friend of mine about this because there's so much shit going on in the world. And I unfortunately I'm gonna have to run soon. I've been on here for just over half an hour and I gotta go pick my daughter up soon. So I'm gonna unfortunately wrap this up in a few minutes. But yeah, it's just to say that like it's overwhelming. And what I find is because big city, not too far away, which is Toronto. The news coming out of a place like that, it's like, any big city, there's just between just the sheer number of people, gang violence, all sorts of other weird stuff that happens, and the other sort of big centers that are around what they call the Golden Horseshoe, which I live not too
N-
far from, but out of. It's just I just can't handle, like, having my own life and my own problems and then constantly hearing about every terrible thing that happens because it's heartbreaking, it's tough on my mental health, and then when you hear about stuff like this happening, I what I think about is, like, because people wanna divide along political lines, cultural lines, religious lines, whatever. I can't wrap my head around the idea that the people that are victims on all sides of any conflict are never the people that are the cause of the conflict because regular working people, good people are just trying to live their lives. They're trying to have a life in peace of some sort, just be able to earn a living and make it through. And it doesn't come together, right? Um, and it is so heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. The thing in Israel, the conflict, like the war, the conflict in the Ukraine, which we don't have time to get into it, but like I can't even wrap my head around, um, how terrible it is, and everything I see about it is just, you just think about, how tough it is, and there's, at the company I work for, there's a guy who came from the Ukraine. He's a lovely guy. He's got a young family. He's trying to like set himself up here. And then there's another guy that works there whose wife is from the Ukraine, and they had property there and stuff, and they were trying to live there kind of half the time and here half the time. And they had to pack up and leave, and they just walked away, and they don't know if their stuff will still be there when they get back, but they're pretty sure it won't be. They they were just bombing everything where they were from. And it's,
It's
you know
horrible, and
yeah, it is, and it just puts a fine it's those particular people just happen to be people I've met and seen in real life, right? It's not that those people have a rougher time or a better time than anyone else. I guess better in a way that they escaped it, but, like, who should have to go through that, Nobody.
well,
Nobody, and
no
those
one.
people those people aren't responsible for what's going on. They just by an accident of where they were born, they're on one side or the other. Um, and that's, kinda
Thi-
all the stuff we talk about,
This
around this community is about not being assholes to each other.
this that whole thing going on in Ukraine. It was I was taking a world region class about world regions, not world religions, world regions.
You just like
in
geopolitical
2000.
divisions.
Yeah, in
Yeah, okay.
2015. And the
Yeah.
professor was basically towing the lines where these people are Russians over here and they want to be part of Russia, and these people don't. The whole, well, it was more along the lines of what Russia is spewing. And I
Yeah.
look at the professor and I say, aren't you worried that Vladimir Putin is going to try to reconstitute the Soviet Union? And he's
Mhm.
like, no. And these are just people who are want to be part of Russia. And I'm like, he's the first Russian president to publicly play the Party International, because I knew about that back in 2015.
Mhm.
And basically, what's going on there is because you got all these oligarchs. Their heads are up their ass about they want a new Soviet Union. I mean, they don't want the ideology that would keep them from being able to say all this shit that I
Mhm.
basically have control of his mind. They want to
Yeah.
be able to say, yes, it is mine, I am filthy rich. But they also want the world to fear them. They want to basically take whatever the fuck they want from whoever they want, and they want to be little mini kings. And
Yeah.
basically this is like they're trying to get their revenge for the collapse of the Soviet Union. And there was
Yeah.
one troll that commented in my comment section in Russian,
Mm.
country code, and then he put 3 and then to be continued.
Okay.
And so basically they want to continue the shit that's going on in Ukraine in Europe if they can.
Yeah. Yeah. This is yeah, and I'm sorry that I gotta wrap things up because it's an interesting conversation to have, and I'm really the least educated on it of anybody in the world, I think, but I feel bad for people because I think the average Russian person is probably just trying to make a living too, right? Like they're not saying it's important that we get this
Uh
back, but maybe a lot of them do
here's
think
the
that's what they're
breakdown. Here's
yeah.
the breakdown. About 30 or 40% are for the war.
Okay.
About 20 to 30% are against it, and the others really aren't engaged and don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Basically, they're being propagandized, so I have no idea what the numbers are right now. But my grandfather
Mm.
said, because Polish Jews have experience with how
Yeah.
shitty the Russians they come in contact with is,
Yeah,
he
absolutely,
said
yeah.
that that country was mind fucked for centuries, and it was mind fucked even before the Soviets with the
Yeah.
czars.
Yeah, I mean, it
And
wouldn't have
there's
they wouldn't have been where they were without having some preamble, right? This stuff doesn't it comes in slowly. It seems like an
well
overnight thing, but this all of this stuff comes in slowly. That's why some of the stuff that's going on around the world in the Western world too is just and I mean, I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
the same.
Yeah. It's the
Remember I
same stuff.
showed that remember I showed that video where it was actual Russian propaganda, but it seemed like it was geared towards an American population,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was actually geared towards Russians. But
yeah,
so the propaganda is coming through here. They're mind fucking us. And I know you're going to have to
yeah.
end this
Yeah,
soon.
no, I
Let
do,
your
I do, but Commander, thank you, and I hope I get a chance to your stream. Are you doing you're doing, like,
let
playing the
you
video and chatting, or you're gonna talk beside it?
um I don't know whether I'm going to upload it. I don't know whether I'm going to
Okay,
do a stream and play it. Hopefully
okay.
I'll have it out today.
Alright.
And I left a little note in my I don't think anyone's seen it yet in my community tab.
Okay,
Uh, I'll try to have it out this evening and let your
okay.
Ukrainian friends know about my channel. I'm going to
Very
be
well.
hopefully be in Kiev this December
Alright,
with
well, I'm
Starsky.
I'm gonna let them know. I'm sure they appreciate that they're getting support from an American who's um, making sure they're educated, already is, and making sure they're educated on the current issues and saying something about it. And Carrie, thank you for coming by and chatting. One day we'll get you out here for a talk on the screen, maybe if you're into it. And Commander, appreciate you coming by. I guess we had a chat about a bunch of things, and I'll just come back to the trucking for just a minute to say I really enjoy when I'm out there running, and I've just got a long distance between a couple of places, just listening in on something. So yeah, so there we go, Carrie. Yeah, someday, yes. Okay, so we got some agreement, and I think I said this at the beginning, um, and I don't think we've got a lot of eyeballs coming in here right this minute. But if people are watching this and want to see some more nonsense, Maya Atkinson's stream is tonight at 9:30 Eastern. She does Bad Science Sunday. I don't know if everyone that is a subscriber of mine knows about that. I know that I mentioned it when I was on Slim Stream last week. One of the days we were on there, and Commander, I know I got to see you there once, I think, but I know the being on the road makes it tough. So was Beck at 4? Yeah, Beck does 4:20 on Sundays. That's right. That's right. Beck gets on there at 4:20. So yeah, everyone should go watch Beck hang out. I'm gonna go get my daughter now because I know she won't mind too much hanging out with the horses, but I gotta go get her and get her back here, and she's got to go to the store too. So I'm gonna
And
end it here. But I love having people come by to talk. Commander, it's always a pleasure to discuss things with you, and your content is always cool because I know you put that time into it, and I'm not doing any prep. I'm just my mind rolls around a bunch of ideas, and I come on and say I want to talk. So it's always nice if somebody joins in, and safe driving out there too.
all right,
So
have
thank
a
you.
good day.
You too. Thanks everybody.